The Heat and the Sixers faced off in a big game in the Eastern Conference, and guess what? It was not even close to close. The Heat didn't just win. They absolutely dominated the 76ers. Jalen, I didn't know who was going to win, but I did not think this would happen. What happened to the Sixers last night?
So I got to tell you something that we need to start doing as people who talk about sports in the microphones, and a lot of times we're wearing makeup and having big-time opinions and takes.
Okay.
Start putting some respect on Jimmy Butler's name.
Fact.
That need to start happening in today's NBA. And I'm not even talking about points, rebounds, and assists. Here's a player that has never attempted, on average, over 15 shots per game. Yet he's a perennial all-star and a lockdown defender, and he's very effective at being efficient. He struggled recently shooting a three-point shot. Going into last night, really was struggling.
Yep.
But why I want to give him his flowers while he's in the league, and for some strange reason, they don't have him starting in the All-Star game, which is crazy to me. I know that that's a voting thing, but that lets you know that the process is just flawed. Not only does he show up in the fourth quarter, but he shows up when there's adversity. And I always appreciate players like that. For example, we heard about the infamous practice that Minnesota had when he fell out with his teammates and how he was dominant, putting a smack down on them. And he played that way when he returned to Minnesota too. He doubled down on it. When he goes against Philly, think about what happened. The Sixers got two perennial all-stars in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. They have an all-star caliber player in Tobias Harris, who they gave Jimmy Butler's contract to. The Miami Heat now have a second all-star with Bam because he's arguably the most improved player in the game. And not only will he block shots at board, he get you double-figure dimes now. Adebayo's ball skills are great. So now those dudes come to Miami. And I tell you, a handful of cities are undefeated as it relates to the nightlife. I know Miami's still on tilt from the Super Bowl. I know it's some remnants still laying around. I know it is. I was just down there. Trust me. There's some archaeologists that need to go down there and get those bones from the Super Bowl. And then now your team that struggles on the road in the Sixers goes to Miami and plays against Jimmy Butler. Now, what we sleep on is Jimmy Butler flat out left the Sixers and didn't look back. And didn't go join somebody. He went to Miami to forge his own path, in theory, as an all-NBA caliber player. And he was killing them, basically almost had 40 through three quarters. The Miami Heat had the most efficient net rating offensively in the history of the NBA last night against the Sixers defense. They only had 3 turnovers the entire game. I'll be watching games like this closely. And look at Jimmy, equal opportunity employer. Get some of that Embiid. Get some of that Tobias. Oh, that's Ben? You come get some of that too. And that impresses me about how he approaches the game, and that's why the Miami Heat are going to continue to improve and give people problems.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.